Hey everyone, my name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at some I Don't Work Here Lady stories, so sit back, relax and enjoy. I just want to read my book and drink my mimosa. Earlier this year, I was in a training in the next town over from where I work and live. The training only lasted half a day and I had the rest of the day off. So I decided to get brunch at a local brunch place that I hadn't been to in probably 20 years. After waiting about 30 minutes for a table, I was finally seated. A few people who came in after me were able to skip me. I didn't mind because they were seated outside and I didn't want to sit outside, as it was a tad chilly and I'm a wimp. Plus I had my Kindle to read and I wasn't in a hurry. As a result, when it was my turn to be seated, I was placed at 4 top alone. I drank a couple mimosas before my food arrived, and about halfway through eating, I had to go to the bathroom. I left for the bathroom, leaving my wallet and Kindle on the table to reassure the servers that I wasn't dining and dashing. On the way back from the bathroom, I ran into a parent and some students who had just paid for some pastries from the bakery side of the restaurant. Quick side note, it started raining while I was eating, so most of those who had skipped me to sit outside chose to come in, sucks to suck, and had to be reseated before any newcomers were seated. This resulted in quite the backup. Anyways, as I was talking to the parent and students, I noticed 2 older ladies breach the waiting area. One chose to stand in the middle of the restaurant, while the other got dangerously close to my table, my seat, and most importantly, my food, wallet, and Kindle. I hastily bid goodbye to my conversation partners and sped back to my possessions. On my way back, the lady standing in the middle of the restaurant tried to stop me and ask if I was a server. I did not stop, but offered a quick nope on my way past. By the time I got to my table, the second lady was hovering directly over my seat. "Excuse me, that's my stuff, I'm sitting there already." The lady looks me up and down. I'm dressed lazy casual. "Well, you need to get back to work so that customers can sit at this table." "No, I don't work here." I couldn't sit because she is standing too close to my chair. "Can I sit, please?" "Oh, you don't work here? You just happen to be in the restaurant alone reading?" "It's what I like to do. I like to read and be alone on my days off. Not that it's any of your business. Now, please." I gestured at my seat. I really wanted to eat a little more, order another mimosa and a box, and continue my book with a mimosa close by. I was getting a bit upset. The lady let me sit, but continued to hover at my table. Luckily, a server walked by. The server to the ladies, "I'm sorry ladies, your table isn't ready yet and we are overcrowded today, so I would ask that you please return to the waiting area." "You need to tell this server to get moving then, so we can have his table." "I don't think he works here, plus we don't allow our staff to drink on the job." Then to me, "Would you like another mimosa, sir?" "Yes please, a box too." The ladies walked back to the waiting area and were soon seated. From their table, they could look over at me and would occasionally scowl in my direction. I went back to my meal, finished it and my mimosa, and left. I left a fat tip because I did feel kind of bad for taking up a 4 top alone, although I would have relocated to a smaller table if asked. I think he handled it perfectly fine. Apart from leaving his wallet on the table, I would not risk that. I completely get they're like, "Oh, so I'm not gonna dine and dash," but that's kinda risky. Our house is not a department store. I've been listening to this sub on YouTube and thought I'd share a story from when I was a kid. The 1990s for anyone who wants to imagine the tech. It's more bittersweet than a typical Karen story. My parents live a few blocks from a large mall, which used to include a department store. That department store's main phone number was only one digit off from ours. We'd get a couple wrong numbers now and then, but for a while we answered the phone with our family's last name, residence, hello, or explain that they had dialed the wrong number and it was fine. Getting a message machine helped too. But there was a period where we were getting calls from an old lady looking for the store's eyeglasses department. She wanted to know if her prescription was ready yet. She left messages on our machine. She left many messages on our machine and called pretty much every day. We tried to explain to her that she was dialing the wrong number, and she understood that she had the wrong number, would take down the right number, only for her to call back seconds later. We're not sure whether she actually dialed the number or just hit redial, thinking it would go to the right number somehow. I think we finally got her to stop by asking whether she had gotten a call from the store yet, or if the eyeglasses department had a direct line, or asking how long it had been since her order, and then advising that she go in directly to check. We're really hoping that's what she did because the calls from her stopped, and the wrong number calls have gone away. Well, especially now since the department store chain has gone under. I bet the worst ones are like the 2s mixing with 7s and then 0s mixing with 8s. It must just be so annoying. We should get new numbers. Wholesome IDWHL. Lurker but wanted to post and had this happen on Black Friday this year. I work for an edgy retail chain, so I was wearing ripped jeans, the uniform t-shirt, there was a sponsor this year so we all had to wear the t-shirt, and my hair was bright pink. I wanted to shop before my shift since I was a late shift, so I went shopping around the mall. There was a great deal for Bath & Body Works, so I went in to buy some gifts. I was wearing my lanyard, my mistake, and this lady in her probably early 40s came up to me asking for help. She wanted to see if there were more gift baskets in the back, and I just chuckled and said, "Sorry miss, I'm just shopping before I clock in at my edgy store." She looked up and down at me and apologized profusely. I wound up shopping along with her the rest of the time because I don't go to that store and was kind of lost with figuring out scents. I never got her name, but if you're reading this, I really appreciate your help. That's so good, it went from her asking for help for her helping her. I can't help you. Not sure if this counts, but some time ago, I worked for a third-party company that works in Walmart. My job was to sell and activate prepaid cell phones that were a part of a specific brands, and those brands only. I worked inside Walmart, but not for Walmart. I couldn't run a cash register, unlock items, or even stand behind the counter. It was also forbidden for me to recommend or activate other brands of phones to people. One day, a couple came in and were looking for the Boost mobile section. Me, not being a pushy salesperson, showed them where the display was and walked away so it wouldn't look like I was discussing other brands, just in case my boss came in. A few minutes later, the couple called me over to recommend them a phone, and I directed them to a Walmart employee explaining that I don't work with the Boost phones. The couple decided on a Boost phone to purchase, and while the Walmart associate unlocked it from the cage, they approached me and asked me to activate the phone for them. I told them that the procedure to activate is very simple, that it is just a phone call to customer service or a trip to the Boost store. However, I'm personally not allowed to activate Boost phones. They started to get upset with me. I tried to level with them and explain that I can only activate XYZ brands, and that if my boss caught me activating a different brand phone, I would be fired. At this point, both the husband and wife are yelling at me. The wife is yelling at me that they've had phones activated here before, and that I'm just denying her service for no reason. The husband is demanding that I help them because I'm a Walmart employee. I was still calm, but I explained that I wasn't a Walmart employee. The wife then demanded I get her a Walmart employee to activate her phone for her. Me, having worked this job, I know how much I hated getting volunteered to do things without prior knowledge. Therefore, I didn't want to volunteer a Walmart employee in case they were busy or if they just didn't know how to do it. Also, activations were not mandatory, they were privileges. I told the woman she would have to ask the associate for help when he came back with her phone. I could not ask for her. The wife screamed for me to call on the phone for a manager. I told her I don't know how, as I don't know what the number is or how to use the store phone. She screamed at me to go find a manager. I gladly walked away, all the way to the break room for the rest of my shift, which was luckily almost over. Apparently, the husband chased down another associate asking for a manager, and followed him back to where the associates are allowed, saying that he wanted to make sure that I didn't lie to him and his wife. When a manager finally came, she explained that a Walmart associate would activate the phone for them, but that I couldn't because it was against my company policy. The couple had argued with the manager about me and how rude I was for about 30 minutes. The couple never bought the phone. No manager ever said anything to me about that incident. My first impression of those guys was like, oh, they're quite a nice couple. They're saying, oh, can you help us over here, yada yada, and then they just turned into awful people. What? Large Walmart Karen. Want to start this story off by saying that when I do go live shopping, as I like to call it, I mind my own business. I don't ask for help, and if I cannot find an item, I decide I don't need it and move on. I hate public places with people milling about as it raises my anxiety. Kind of funny considering my job. So generally, when I go to a store, I power walk to the areas I need to be in, grab my stuff, pay, and get out. This particular shopping trip was pretty much the same. I walked into Walmart, grabbed a car, and began my normal routine. It was 11 PM. I worked odd shifts from 2 PM to 10 PM and shopped at night. So there was hardly anyone there except for the weirdos. So power walking through was always easy. I got through about a quarter of my list before I realized that someone was following me. When I turned to look, there was an older woman, overweight, with sunglasses on her head and 2 different types of animal print on her body. I give you large Walmart Karen. Finally, were you trying to outrun me? I didn't register that anyone would follow me around while I am shopping. What do you need? Well, it doesn't matter if you are shopping and off the clock. You still work here and you need to help customers when they need it. I just raised my eyebrow at her, then continued my routine. I was wearing a light blue shirt with my company's logo in huge letters on the back and front, as well as long black shorts and black boots, as was my company's dress code. My shirt even had my job title stamped in huge letters below the company logo on the front and back of the shirt, security. Even though I was in the right colors, they were the wrong hue and she was an idiot. I had no time for that exchange and wanted to get home so I could eat and sleep. I got a couple of aisles and several more items checked off my list before I felt a stabbing pressure in the middle of my shoulder blades. I slowly turned around to see Karen's long nails in the process of going to stab me again. Do it again and I'll have you arrested for assault. You need to do your job. You need to learn how to read. What does my shirt say? It was like she just noticed my shirt, the logo, and the title. Her eyes grew big before they narrowed again in the typical Karen fashion. Guys, I am a short and non-threatening build-wise, so I don't blame her for making the same mistakes as everyone else, thinking she can intimidate me. However, she had no idea who she was messing with. I once tore my esophagus screaming at another Karen and her husband, bad enough to run away from me in Target. Well, it doesn't matter because you are in hospitality and you should help me. I am going to call your employer. You were going to call an officer of the law to complain that I won't help you in Walmart at midnight after you assaulted me? Go ahead. She was talking over me at this point, so I pulled out my cell phone and dialed the midnight officer. Once I got him on the phone and explained it through her rant, he said, "Sure, hand her the phone." So I did. She went from smug to scared in less than a minute talking to him. She handed me the phone back before hippo stomping her way to the next aisle. I do not know what he said, but I was grateful that I didn't see her again as I finished my shopping. The next night, as I was on my way out, the midnight boss was on his way in, and he stopped and said deadpan, "Was she large? She sounded large." Hippo. Well, have a nice night. We are people of few words. That's a risky move though of handing some random Karen your personal phone, like I wouldn't trust them with that. Hey everyone, I hope you're all having a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to see more videos like it, then click on screen right now. And if you never want to miss out on a video, then hit subscribe, but I will see you all very soon.